Hi everyone, I'm Ricardo Sunga and today we're going to dive into the amusing world of research impact and dissemination. Research is more than just gathering data and publishing papers. It's about creating real change in society, academia, and beyond. So let's explore how research makes a difference and how we can effectively share our findings with the world. Let's talk about research impact. Research impact refers to the meaningful effects that research has beyond just being published in academic journals. It represents the influence of research on different aspects of society and knowledge. Here are the six key areas where research can make an impact. First, we have academic, expanding knowledge within the field, inspiring new studies, or advancing theories and methodologies. Example will be groundbreaking discoveries in physics that lead to new technologies. Societal. So, research that improves quality of life, influences public policy, or enhances social well being. An example would be on studies on poverty reduction that shape government programs. Economic, creating jobs, fostering innovations, or saving costs. Example is research on artificial intelligence leading to new business opportunities. Next, we have cultural, influencing values, beliefs, and creating expressions. Example is studies on historical events shaping cultural narratives. Environmental, contribution to sustainability, conservation, or tackling climate change. Example is research on renewable energy and improving green technology. Last, we have health, advancing medical treatments, public health strategies, and patient care. Example will be research on vaccines leading to disease prevention. All in all, research impact is the effect that research has on the world around us. Impact isn't just measured in citations, it's about real world change. Next, we have measuring research impact. Measuring research impact is crucial to understanding how research contributes to society, academia, and industry. So, how do we measure research impact? There are two key approaches to measure impact. First, we have quantitative metrics. These provide numerical data to measure the reach and influence of research. Examples include citation counts, how many times a research paper has been referenced by other works. We also have an example of alternative metrics or alt metrics, social media mentions, online discussions, and news coverage. We can also have patents and licenses, indicating how research leads to innovation and commercialization. Financial metrics, so revenue generated, cost savings, or economic value added. So second key approaches is qualitative metrics. This focus on the broader effects of research that are harder to quantify. Example includes case studies, stories or real-world examples of how research has solved societal problems. Stakeholders feedback. So insight from communities, policymakers, or industry leaders on the research usefulness. We could also have influence on policies and communities, examining how research helps shape laws, regulations, or societal practices. Both types of metrics help demonstrate the value of research to funders, institutions, and the public, ensuring that research efforts lead to meaningful impact beyond academia. Next slide, we have why measure research impact. Measuring research impact is essential because it ensures that research efforts lead to meaningful outcomes. So why should we care about measuring impact? Here are four key reasons why it matters. First, we have accountability. Research often relies on funding from governments, institutions, or private organizations. Measuring impact helps demonstrate that these investments lead to valuable advancements. Second, we have learning and improvement. By tracking impact, researchers can refine their methods, improve accessibility, and make their findings more relevant to real-world problems. Third, we have recognition. Measuring impact highlights significant contribution, helping researchers gain credibility in their field and increase their career opportunities. Last, we have research allocation. Funding bodies and institutions use impact assessments to determine which research areas deserve continued or increased support. In short, measuring research impact helps justify funding, refine methodologies, promote recognition, and guide future research priorities. Next slide, we have creating policy briefs from research. A policy brief is a short, well-structured document that translates research findings into actionable recommendations for policymakers. Since policymakers may not have the time or expertise to go through lengthy academic papers, a policy brief simplifies the research into a clear and practical form. A good policy brief should clearly define the issue, what is the problem, why is it important, present policy options, what are the possible solutions or approaches, provide strong evidence-based recommendation. What is the best course of action based on research findings? Planning your policy brief, you should consider the following. First, we have purpose. A policy brief informs readers about issue, presents policy options, and make recommendations. It should be focused, concise, and emphasize the urgency and benefits of the proposed policy. Audience. The brief should be accessible and tailored to a specific audience, considering their knowledge, interest, and openness to recommendations. Content. A policy brief should be clear, concise, centered on one topic, avoiding unnecessary details. It should not exceed 1,500 words and should use plain language. Structure. The structure should guide the reader from the problem to the solution, with clear headings such as a summary, context, analysis, considerations, and recommendations. It should align with the audience interests, balancing evidence with clarity. Policy briefs are powerful tools for influencing decision makers, ensuring that research leads to tangible changes in society. By making research finding accessible and actionable, they help bridge the gap between academia and real-world policy implementation. Next, we have why engage stakeholders and the public. Engaging stakeholders and the public is essential for ensuring that research is relevant, useful, and impactful. Stakeholders can include policymakers, businesses, community, organizations, and the general public. Why is engagement important? So it ensures relevance and application. Research should address real-world problems and provide practical solutions. Engaging stakeholders helps shape research questions that matter. Second, it can build trust and accountability. Involving stakeholders in the research process foster transparency, increasing public trust in research finding. It could lead to better outcome or it could improve outcomes. Gathering input from diverse perspective enhances the quality of research, making findings more applicable and effective. So we also have engagement in different stages of research. When should engagement happen? Engagement should occur at all stages of research, from planning and design to implementation and data collection, and up to dissemination and application. By engaging in stakeholders and the public in planning and design, we could identify key issues and set research priorities. In implementation and data collection, we could ensure the research process is inclusive and reflects different perspectives. In dissemination and application, we could share findings in accessible way and encourage real-world application. By actively engaging stakeholders, researchers can increase the likelihood of their work being used to drive policy changes, improve industries, and benefit society as a whole. For the last topic, we have dissemination. How can we share research effectively? Dissemination refers to the process of making research findings available and accessible to different audiences, including academics, policymakers, businesses, and the general public. It ensures that research doesn't just stay in journals, but reaches those who can use it. Purpose of dissemination. So first we have raise awareness. It informs people about key findings and why they matter. It could also inform the community, help people understand how research applies to real-world issues, engage stakeholders, get input and feedback from those who can benefit from or implement the research. Last, we have promote research findings. Ensure research reaches the right people in the right way. In the next slide, we have the dissemination methods. First, we have traditional methods such as academic journals, conferences, and seminars, books, and reports. Second, we have digital methods, social media such as Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, blogs and websites, podcasts, and seminars. Third, we could have stakeholder-specific methods such as workshop and training sessions, policy briefs for decision makers, and media outreach such as TV, newspapers, and magazines. Also, in dissemination, timing matters. In early dissemination or during research, we could also pre-prints or we have conferences talks about the research. In ongoing dissemination, we could have regular updates through blogs, social media, or stakeholders meeting about the research. In post-completion dissemination, we could publish findings in journals, reports, or presentations in the public. So by using the right mix of dissemination strategies at the right time, researchers can maximize the reach and impact of their work. So for the next slide, so why use social media for research dissemination or the power of social media in research? Social media has transformed the way research is shared and consumed. It provides a fast, broad-reaching, and interactive way to communicate findings beyond traditional academic circles. Why use social media for research dissemination? First, it increases visibility and citation rates. Research that is widely shared online has a higher chance of being read, discussed, and cited. Second, it facilitates networking and collaboration. Platforms like Twitter and LinkedIn help researchers connect with peers, funders, and stakeholders worldwide. Last is translate complex research into digestible contents. Using videos, infographics, and simplified summaries makes research more accessible to wider audience. So these are the best practices for research on social media. So use plain language to make content understandable. Incorporate visuals, so like infographics, short videos to capture attention. Keep content bite-sized. Concise, engaging posts work best. So use strategic hashtag to boost discoverability. For example, climate research or like all innovations. By leveraging social media effectively, research can expand their audience, foster collaboration, and ensures their findings make a real world impact. So that's all for me. Thank you for listening. To wrap up this presentation, so research is powerful, but its impact depends on how well it is shared and understood. By measuring impact, engaging stakeholders, and leveraging multiple dissemination methods, we can ensure that research make a meaningful difference. Thank you and look forward to your questions.